In the news this week, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese launched Federal Labor's campaign in Perth as opposition leader Peter Dutton counters with a visit to Curtin.
We have a special coverage tonight, along with other stories of the week, and later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Loom and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. The federal election has reached fever pitch with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese launching the Labor Party's campaign in Perth this weekend. Speaking inside the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre to hundreds of party faithful, Mr Albanese laid out his vision and key announcements for Western Australia as it becomes the must-win state to gain government. Here's a key highlight from today's speech by the Prime Minister.
Friends, when we look at everything going on around the world today, there is nowhere else you'd rather be than right here in Australia. That is why I ask, why on earth would we try to mimic anywhere else? We don't want a wages system where people have to rely on tips to make ends meet. We don't want Australian students burdened by a lifetime of debt. And we never, ever, ever want an American-style health system in this country. Extraordinarily, the Liberals have been busy claiming they would have already done a deal with the United States on tariffs. Labor stood up for Australian farmers and producers, and we've made it clear that our pharmaceutical benefit scheme is not up for negotiation. Today I announced that a re-elected Labor government will create a new $1,000 instant tax deduction. This will guarantee that everyone can opt for an automatic tax deduction of $1,000 on their work expenses. No paperwork, no box of receipts, no scrolling through your online banking. Just tick the box and your return's ready to go. Every year. Today I announced that under a Labor government you will be able to buy your first home with just a 5% deposit. Our 5% deposit plan will be open to every Australian looking to buy their first home. It will be available for homes valued all the way up to the average price in every city and region. And you won't have to pay a single dollar in mortgage insurance. Our government will cover it. If you're looking to buy your first home, Labor's got your back. And if you want to know the difference this will make, think about this. The median price of a home in Australia is around about $820,000. 5% of that is $41,000. The last time that $41,000 was enough for a deposit was more than 2 decades ago, way back in 2002. This is a generational change that will empower a new generation of first home buyers. In every city and region, this will make home ownership easier. It will take years off the time it takes to get together a deposit. So instead of trying to save while your rent pays someone else's loan, you're paying off your own mortgage in the security of your own home. You have the strong foundation to start a family and build a good life in a community that you love. Friends, Labor supports renters. Of course we do. But unlike the Greens political party, we don't think people should have to rent forever. And unlike the Liberals, we don't think young Australians should have to sacrifice their superannuation to buy their first home. this generation of Australians should not be forced to choose between the opportunity of home ownership and security in retirement. Australians deserve both, and Labor is building both. And today we keep building. Today I announce that Labor will invest $10 billion to build 100,000 new homes reserved for first home buyers only. No competition from property investors, just a fair crack for young Australians. We've seen this work in South Australia. We will bring it to the national level with national leadership, because we want Australians to be able to afford a home where they want to live, close to their family, friends, work and community. Through a decade in government, the Liberals invested less than $5 billion in housing over an entire decade. Labor is now delivering our $43 billion Homes for Australia plan, 8 times bigger and 100 times better. This is the biggest home building program since the post-war housing boom. Back then, Ben Chifley's Labor government said that housing was, to quote Ben, not only the need, but the right of every citizen. That was Labor's mission then, and it is Labor's mission now.
As the election campaign reaches its climax here on the Western Front, both the federal Labor and Liberal parties are fighting for soft votes, with Western Australia emerging as the key state for political victory. Labor has made a major announcement to fund ferry expansion in Perth, while the Liberals are focusing on vehicle tax and mining reforms. Paige Reid reports.
The Australian Prime Minister dropped by WA this week as part of the launch of his federal election. Prime Minister Albanese says that if re-elected, he will commit $60 million towards the newest expansion of the state's Metronet ferries. The newest expansion will see 2 new ferry terminals built in both Applecross and the University of WA, keeping the state better connected.
With WA to deliver for the residents here in this growing, thriving state that is at the centre of our national economy, not just WA's economy. And that's what today is about.
Albanese says his Labor government understand WA and what the state needs. Alongside these new ferry terminals, there is also consideration at adding additional stops in popular locations such as Burswood and Optus Stadium. The State Premier, Roger Cook, says this commitment from the federal government is helping keep the state's vision for the Metronet alive.
Western Australia is benefiting from the strong working relationship that we have with the Albanese Labor government, and we hope to continue to build on that relationship as we diversify Western Australia's economy and we continue to drive our Made in WA plan. And my government has a proven track record when it comes to manufacturing. We want to make more things here.
The Liberal Party is yet to commit to any Metronet expansion projects. Opposition leader Peter Dutton is instead focusing on new vehicle tax relief and mining policy. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
An Ellenbrook man has been charged by police over an indecent assault that took place in a shopping centre in Victoria Park 3 weeks ago. The 23-year-old man was charged following an investigation by Kensington Police into the incident, which occurred on Friday, March 21st in East Victoria Park. Authorities will allege the man approached a woman in her 20s and indecently assaulted her inside the shopping centre. He was also wanted in connection with several other alleged serious offences. The man was later located and arrested after a brief standoff in the area. He faced 6 charges including wounding, stealing, indecent assault, being armed, disorderly behaviour and trespassing. He was refused bail and remains in custody to face the Perth Magistrates Court this week.
WA Police are currently seeking assistance from the public as they investigate a series of car break-ins that occurred early Wednesday morning. Police say they received reports of three unknown men allegedly breaking into cars on Collins Street in Dalkeith. Additional vehicles have also been damaged in Wembley, Crawley, Peppermint Grove, Mosman Park and Fremantle. Police say at least 50 cars have been damaged, and authorities believe the suspects are three men aged between 18 and 25 years old. Anyone with information about these incidents is urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
We believe at least three of the males between the ages of 18 and 25 were involved with the 20-year-old male who's already been charged. We really need the community's help to identify these outstanding suspects and to provide any information, CCTV footage or dashcam camera footage to police.
The Cook Labor government has announced new legislation to boost housing affordability and help more West Aussies buy their first home. Under the changes, buyers from existing homes or vacant land won't pay transfer duty if their property is under $500,000 or land under $350,000. Concessions apply on properties up to $700,000 or $750,000 in the regional areas, and lands up to $450,000. The off-the-plan duty concession will be extended to June 30th, with the threshold raised by $100,000. Buyers of homes valued up to $750,000 will get full concessions capped at $50,000. Partial concessions apply up to $850,000 depending on building stages. For a limited time, off-the-plan homes in single-tier strata or community title schemes will be qualified, excluding survey strata. The Premier said the move will drive new housing supply, while Finance Minister David Michael added it would boost density and offer more downsizing options for seniors.
And now, here is Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. Really interesting to see the results of the West Australian election with the Liberals not doing nearly as well as they might have hoped, winning possibly 7 of the seats, the Nationals 6. The Liberals might regain the right to be the opposition party, but really it's a pretty dismal showing. Labor completely dominating with in excess of 40 seats in a 59-seat House. So it's another 4 years of a very confident government that will be able to really make its mark, and let's hope they want to make their mark in health. They've done an unusual thing in splitting up some of the responsibilities of the health portfolio, for example having a new Minister for Preventative Health, and hopefully we'll see some progress this time around, because certainly we've got a new Health Minister who has criticised things like ambulance ramping in the past, so going in there with something to prove. The Liberals, I think, potentially sabotaged a little in this state. It'll be interesting to see if it happens in the federal election by the chaos surrounding the right wing in the US at the moment, and to the extent that they are kind of common travellers in regard to some of their social beliefs and some of the issues that they're enlivened about. I can only see Trump as being a negative drag on domestic politics in Australia for anyone who associates with him. So, interesting to see. I'm mainly into the healthcare side of things. The direction that America is going in is completely wrong. Hopefully in Australia we'll still see bipartisan support for universal healthcare, having a healthy population and trying to keep the private health insurers under control rather than making them into massive profit-making machines that deny access to healthcare way too commonly in the US. Thanks for your time.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller. And now here's what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks guys, the top stories we're following on 6 News. Both Labor and the Coalition are officially launching their election campaigns with less than a month to go until polling day. Meanwhile, opposition leader Peter Dutton could be facing trouble in his own Brisbane seat of Dixon. The details on that. And key electronics have been exempted from Donald Trump's tariffs on China amid the ongoing trade war. You can watch live 24/7 on the 6 News YouTube channel. For now though guys, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. Now we're halfway through the election campaign already.
That's right, with only 2 weeks left. Pre-poll is coming up on the 22nd of April, and of course Election Day on the 3rd of March. quite a few things going to be happening, and of course the launch test just happened today, and we'll have every twist and every turn covered as all the other independents and the major political parties try to cash in on the soft votes.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnnews.com.au/news/extra. From Melly Page, and myself, wish you good health, good night, see you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.